Hello, my name is Adam Milson, and I'm going to be presenting to you today on why your son or daughter should be involved in athletics during their childhood. I played many sports growing up, from basketball to golf, swam, soccer, and many more, and I felt the benefits from these sports when I was growing up. They shaped me into the person I am today, and they really taught me a lot, and I feel involving your son or daughter in these sports during their childhood, they'll have those same benefits that I had. So, the agenda for today is I'll first talk about why your son or daughter should participate in these sports, the four main benefits, the possible concerns, I'll do a recap, and then I'll answer any questions that you may have. So to start off, why should your son or daughter participate? I like this quote from Tony Dorsett, an NFL running back, who said, "To succeed, you need to find something to hold on to, something to motivate you, something to inspire you." I think this is a great quote because involving your son or daughter in a sport, they'll find something to motivate them, something that inspires them through a real passion. Through this passion, they'll have that drive, and it'll lead to a journey of success, just like this picture says, where success is not a journey, is a journey, not a destination. Sports will give them that journey, and it'll lead them to success down the road from these benefits. So the four benefits I'm going to talk about today are character building, physical health and well-being, avoiding bad decisions due to boredom, and academic requirements and achievement. So to start off, I'm going to talk about character building. So the three main factors behind character building in sports for your son or daughter would be the coaches they'll have, the teammates they'll have, and actually themselves. So in this picture, to start off, you have Coach Mike Krzyzewski. He was the coach and still is for the Duke University Blue Devils, and it was for the United States men's basketball team. And there's a great quote from Grant Hill, one of his former players, talking about how Coach K had an effect on him. He says, "His constructive criticism and his willingness to hold me accountable for the good and the bad was a vital part of my maturation. Those lessons bled over into life both on and off the court." This is a great example where Grant's talking about how Coach K held him accountable on and off the court and shaped Grant through basketball to better his life outside of the game, not just on the court, but off the court. And this is what coaches can have as an impact on their players. They're a role model to the players, and they can really shape them through the sport and teach them vital life lessons. The second factor with teammates is teammates are very influential on the player, and they become family. I know when I played sports, my teammates were like brothers to me, and they really held me accountable, and I knew that if I didn't show up to practice, didn't give myself 100%, I wasn't just letting myself down, I was letting them down. And obviously, like anything else, you don't want to let your family down, and I think that's something that really kids will benefit from in sports in their youth. And then the last factor is when they learn from themselves. Sports really do teach you a lot about yourself. The days you don't want to get up in practice or things of that nature, you find that drive inside of you to get up, knowing that you want to be better than you were the day before, and you can't take a day off, and you can't let your teammates down. So you definitely find that drive, that self-motivation through the game. The second factor is physical fitness. So obviously being involved in sports will bring some physical fitness to your son or daughter, and the seriousness of this issue, 33% of American kids are overweight or obese by the third grade, and this was according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention in the Up to Us report in 2009. Obviously it's serious, 33% being 1 in 3 children in third grade. That is a huge number, and the fix, the most effective way to combat childhood obesity is increasing physical activity. So as you can see, involving your child in playing sports for 60 minutes a day will be a great influential thing for them, just like the NFL's movement Play 60. And involving them in this sport in their youth, they'll either be practicing 1, 2, 3, even every day during the week, and that'll get them that time to go outside and get that physical fitness. The third factor, avoiding trouble. Obviously, as you go through your childhood, you're going to involve yourself with other friends and the peer pressures that you will be faced during your boredom. Your kids obviously will be there. We've been through that, and I think it's very vital that to be involved in extracurricular activities such as a sport to keep them busy. So youth who do not participate in extracurricular activities are 49% more likely to use drugs than those who spend 4 hours a week or more. So obviously that is a pretty astounding statistic and something that is important, and that was from the Up to Us report as well in 2009. So involving your child in a sport in their youth will really help them stay away from these problems and hopefully prevent them from making a choice that could harm their future in the classroom or out of the classroom as well. And then the last factor is academic achievement. So many might think that sports can't help you academically, but they really can. Holding a GPA requirement and having to achieve in the classroom to play on the court or on the field is very important, and coaches, administrators don't take that lightly. So in this statistics, 65% in 8th grade, 65.7% in 10th grade, and 56.8% 12th grade have plans to complete 4 years college degrees as athletes. And non-athletes are 44%, 39%, and 44% respectively. So that's a pretty crazy statistic to think about, and that was from the National Monitoring the Future survey. So as you can see, the statistics do back up that it is important. And as I said, when I played in high school, we had that GPA requirement, and I know it held a lot of people accountable for success in the classroom that they might not have had otherwise. A lot of kids would just slack off if they weren't playing a sport, but being in a sport, they had to have that GPA requirement, and they had to achieve in the classroom to play. So that gave them that motivation to do well. So after those 4 benefits, obviously you probably have thoughts about the concerns behind all these. So the 4 major problems I see behind involvement of your child in a sport in their youth is bad coaching, too much time commitment, sports over everything mentality, and winning triumphs all. So to start off, bad coaches. Obviously there's bad coaches out there, and being a role model, if you get your son or daughter in a sport with a bad coach, it could really affect them. In these 2 pictures here, you can see the coaches yelling at their players and in their face, and maybe crossing the line of that tough love idea. So I feel like as a parent, involving your child in the sport, you still have a lot of control, and you can make sure you have an open line of communication with the coach and with your son or daughter about the coach. So you're holding everybody accountable and making sure that your son or daughter is getting the best coaching, but at the same time, the coach is respecting the idea that they have to be still compassionate and making sure they're looking out for the kids. The second problem, too much time commitment. This could be an issue depending on what league your son or daughter chooses to play in or you choose to put them in. Some play a lot, some don't play as much, and it's honestly up to you and what you think is best for your child, and as well as what you can commit yourself to, driving your child to the sporting event, to practices and things of that nature, and what you can handle. Sports over everything mentality, third. I feel like this is not as prevalent as people think, but sports do become, if you're really passionate, it could become your life. That's what you do. That's what you love to do. That's your hobby. When you're not doing something, that's what you would be doing. And I think this is also something, as a parent, involving your child, it can be good for them, and at the same time could be bad, and that's something you just have to monitor and be careful with, and make sure that they are holding their priorities and making sure they're not dedicating all their time to one thing. And then the last problem is winning trumps all. In this picture on the bottom, Tiger Woods, it says winning takes care of everything. This is not true, and I feel like some kids do happen to get this idea or mentality, and that winning solves everything. That's what they see on TV. If you're winning, you're the man. You're it. Well, that's something that, as a coach, having a coach and having you as role models, that you have to stress is that winning isn't everything. And there's a lot more things important in life than just winning on the field or on the court. So other than those concerns, I'm just going to kind of recap here. So as I talked about the 4 benefits of the sport, I really do think there's a lot of positives to playing sports during your childhood, but overall it's your choice. It's your choice whether you involve your child or daughter or son in a sport during their childhood. And it's your question, do the positives outweigh the negatives? I think they do. Through these 4 benefits, I feel like it gives you the reason in the world to at least give them a chance and see how they like it. So I definitely feel like these positives do outweigh the negatives. So other than that, if you have any questions, I'd love to take them. But if not, then thank you for listening.